can of worms where it's time to unleash our second big worm of the night. Love and marriage do indeed go together like a horse and carriage. But let's face it, who gets about in a pony and cart these days? That's right, attitudes are changing. Has the walk down the aisle lost its lustre? Let me propose you this worm, dearly beloved. Is marriage necessary anymore? Yes or no? You have 5 seconds. Oh, Jim.
Oh, man.
James
you guys
says no.
suck.
James says no. Julie says yes. Yep. Lawrence says yes. Now, Lawrence and Julie, you're both married, aren't
Yes.
you? Now, why did you decide to get married, Lawrence?
I wanted to get married. I just felt this innate need. And I think it makes things better.
In what way?
You declare your love publicly and it creates, if you will, without wanting to sound too airy-fairy, its own magic. You know, making that commitment in front of a lot of people, once you've got witnesses, you can't back down.
Julie, now, was it magic when it happened?
Yeah, absolutely magic. And the fact that there's another human being in the world who's prepared to commit their life to me and promise me that they'll be there for me for the rest of their life, and someone that I feel the same way about, my best friend, my partner, that to me is the most wonderful thing in the world.
Did you live together before you got married?
Yes, we did.
How long for?
For about 9 months. I mean, being Catholic doesn't mean that I follow all of those rules.
No.
Otherwise, I'd have a lot more than 3 kids.
I'm telling the Pope.
I think I'm already on his blacklist, so go ahead.
James, do you ever see yourself getting married?
Oh, I imagine that might happen. Yeah, definitely.
To your mechanic?
To my mechanic.
So why have you said it's not necessary, James?
I know a lot of couples who've been together for a long time and they love each other. They're very secure with each other. And their relationship is no less valid than, say, a relationship that has been together for the same amount of time but have just happened to have gone down the aisle together.
Billions of people all around the world tuned in for Kate and Will's big day. It was a wonderful ceremony and a fairy tale wedding. You know, what's wrong with a little bit of romance,
There's nothing
James?
wrong with romance at all. There's nothing wrong with marriage. But in this day and age, you know, enough marriages end in divorce. There's enough marriages that have, you know, problems or domestic violence or that end up in affairs. Then, you know, I don't see how getting married changes those statistics.
I answer the question as in, is marriage still necessary? And I think it is. And I think that ritual, whether it's done in the eyes of the imaginary lord or at a registry office or wherever you do it, whatever you want to call the you know, marriage, is up to you. I'm not just saying, hey, just be happy with a commitment ceremony. I think that gay marriage should be legalised, and I think it's dark ages stuff that we're still arguing about it. But I think whatever you want to call marriage is how you define it.
If you say marriage isn't necessarily necessary, there's a whole group of people in this country that are not allowed to get married. Love is love and commitment is commitment. Marriage was a necessary step for me to take in my relationship, and it absolutely breaks my heart that in my Australia, that option isn't available to everybody.
Amen, sister. This is the part of the feel-good movie where she starts running for president. Isn't it?
Well, listen, it's been fascinating hearing your thoughts on this matter, but I really want to get to the audience. Farmer Dave Gray. Yeah. How are you, Dave?
G'day. Good.
So, Dave, you're a gay man. You're in a relationship, yeah? What's your view on marriage?
For me, it's the highest pedestal you can put a relationship on. It says that this relationship that we have is above all others that I've ever had before, and I want security and stability in that relationship so that when you know, the chips are down and things are going rough, there's still something that's going to keep us together.
So what are your plans?
We got engaged a wee while ago, and that's legal here. We can definitely get engaged. I don't think Julia Gillard had much to say about that. But she has a lot to say about what else we do, and that's I don't agree with.
I think it's a disgrace. And anyone that opposes the idea that you two guys should be able to celebrate a marriage and live together for the rest of your lives under the union of that marriage they should get on a... I don't know where they should go. They should get on a... They should just stop it.
I totally agree with you, but I also don't think we should demonise people straight away, because a lot of people come from different generations, a different mentality, and the idea you go, people who don't believe that gays should get married can just, you know, they're dinosaurs, they should die out. You know, their opinions are still valid.
I disagree with you, James. I think that if your opinion oppresses somebody else, then you've no right to that opinion in this society.
No, I don't agree. I think you've got the right to that opinion. You've definitely got the right to that opinion. And it's our challenge is to try and win them over.
I think we look back on this era the same way we look back on women not being able to vote and Aboriginal people not being able to vote as, an injustice that occurred for far too long. And what were we thinking?
I've said that, no, that marriage isn't necessary. So I'm actually defending to the death your right to not get married, which I think's important as well.
Hey, Dave, thank you very much. Good luck, and just quietly, you've done well. He's gorgeous, isn't he?
He is.
Caroline, now, what's your view on marriage?
I get why people do it, but signing a lifetime contract saying I can be with this one person for the rest of my life, I'd say sign a 10-year contract. Say, I can be with you for 10 years, and then after 10 years, have your party and celebrate then, and then if it doesn't work out, walk away guilt-free.
So like a truck licence, 10 years, then you got to renew.
I mean, we've got to evolve, and I think that's what marriage needs to do now. Get married, but have a time limit.
I actually admire the viewpoint that if you're not sure you can make it for the rest of your life with one person, don't enter into a marriage. And I think if more people listen to that inner voice, there would be fewer divorces. But I reject the idea that no one can enter into a lifetime contract.
But, Julie, how can you be sure when you're young and in love that this is for life? You don't know how that's going to go.
Well, I do, Dicko, because we promise each other on a daily basis that we're going to renew that decision every day moving forward. We renew the decision to love each other.
I can just imagine that. He's like, oh, yeah. Well, didn't I just promise you yesterday? I promise again.
No.
I promised you, Julie. I said it yesterday. I'm in. I love you.
It's just about refreshing that love that you've got for each other every day, reminding each other every day of
it's not
what you love
Groundhog
about
Day,
people.
Jim. Don't worry. Well, thank you so much for being candid on this subject. Thanks to our fantastic audience as well and all the participants there. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. But we really want to know what Australia thinks on this, Michelle. Have you got the polls?
I do, sir. The Roy Morgan pollsters gave a whole lot of Australians the opportunity to finally tell the truth about their feelings toward marriage. Some of those conversations were quite lengthy, and as a result, a high percentage of Roy Morgan pollsters no longer want to get married. Let's have a look at the stats. Is marriage necessary anymore? Oh, wedding planners rejoice because 78% said yes. In fact, 61% said it makes the relationship more legitimate. Speaking of legitimacy, does it matter if you're hitched when you pop out a couple of kids? Nearly 3/4 say not at all. Oh, how times have changed. Men are most likely to say that marriage is something you should only do once, whilst women are more likely to say that marriage is something you should do as many times as it takes to get it right. And finally, when asked, do you think gay people should have the right to get married, 68% of Australians said, I do. Should we send that one to Canberra? I know they love polls. Now, the other interesting thing, Dicko, is that 18 to 24-year-olds are most likely to believe that marriage is necessary. Young Australians are right up for it.
So you're saying I've got to spring for 2 weddings with my girls?
Yes, you do. How exciting, and walk them down the aisle.
Not yet, girls, please. After the break, we present our Voice of the People trophy. But next, Danny Lick attempts to make an honest woman of, well, pretty much any woman that will have him.
Tennille, will you marry me?
Yes?
Yes! She said yes!